The narrative of climate change is being used to advance the agenda of those who seek to establish a global totalitarian system, which will be their new world order. They want us to believe that the release of emissions from industry, agriculture and vehicles is causing the Earth's atmosphere to change, which is adversely affecting the normal range of temperatures and weather on the planet. They intend to use this narrative as a means to centralize their control over the allocation and usage of the world's resources, as well as the public's activities and standard of living. It's not about saving the planet. It's about the elites wanting to completely subjugate the masses while getting them to believe that it's for their own good. They're actually right about the temperatures and weather becoming more volatile and extreme, but that's not the issue. The issue is what's causing it. It's definitely not caused by carbon dioxide, methane, or any other emissions from human activities. The reality is that the temperature volatility and weather are being generated intentionally by artificial means, through the operation of advanced technology. Proving this point requires photographic evidence, so let's begin by examining what clouds are made of and how they come into existence. We've been told that clouds are made of accumulated dust in the atmosphere, but that explanation doesn't even remotely hold up to logic. Dust, being heavier than air, would never rise up thousands of feet and stay aloft for such a long period of time, nor would it form into coherent individual clouds. Dust isn't uniformly white either, and it wouldn't be able to hold water without mixing with it and coming down with the rain. Just based on that, it's clear that it's not dust. So what is all of this white stuff floating around in the sky? The video you're about to see will show you exactly what it is, and it'll be obvious that it's not anything natural.
سبحان الله. سبحان الله. هذه سحابة الله الآن نازلة الأرض هنا بمنطقة دكالة. أمر غريب جدا.
As you can see, they're made out of these synthetic fibers or filaments. Their low density and large mass surface area make them buoyant, but they're still heavier than air. Of course, ordinarily, they disintegrate before they reach the ground, but this batch was either sprayed at too low of an altitude or there was a bad run at the factory.
واو 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 الآن سحابة كتنتقل. غادي يدخل الطريق، هذا هو المشكل. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. سحابة الآن كتعبر في الطريق. أمر غريب جدا. أمر غريب جدا. نوري تنتي نوري سيري. الأمر رخو جدا. سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله وبحمده.
The aerosol has a fairly short lifespan, and you can see that here as this cloud begins to break down. A few hours after this video was shot, all of this was gone.
هادشي غريب هادشي. أول مرة. هذا هو السحاب. هذا هو السحاب اللي كيكون في السماء. غريب هادشي. راه تخلعت أنا ولي شفتو. أول مرة نكنلقاه. أول مرة هادي راه غريبة جدا. أول مرة. دابا السحابة
黑洞洞在，这哪儿的现在这个样子啊？
往前推，往前推，对，往前推。
我想雨天气变了，我他妈的真的。
哎呦，我是第一次看见这个东西啊！这是云啊是啥呀？
不是云吧？云的话就这样。
他们见过这个地方，我还是想看的。厉害厉害！
大了，现在撑不下了这个里面，哇！
电视开了。
And this is where the aerosol comes from. It's all sprayed from craft, from these anti-gravity orbs. Ordinarily, they'd have refractive cloaks on, which would effectively make them invisible, or they'd be generating plain holograms. There are millions of them up there, all over the planet, spraying aerosol, making clouds, and conducting weather operations 24 hours a day, every day.
C'est un dirigeable ça. Franchement c'est chelou hein. Ok, voilà, je sais pas c'est quoi mais c'est chelou hein. On va par là nous aussi.
Mec, c'est bizarre, on dirait il a la forme d'un parachute mais incliné comme ça.
C'est chelou hein.
This video will show that these aerosol fibers react to electromagnetic fields. The orb in this video is going to radiate an electromagnetic field that causes the aerosol to rapidly break down and disintegrate. There's a cloaked orb up there shooting EMFs to cause the aerosol to break down and change color in the process. Everyone knows that clouds can hold electrical charge, which is what causes lightning, but again, there isn't a way for this to occur naturally. All of the electricity comes from EMFs generated by these orbs. They charge up the clouds like batteries, and when the potential is big enough and there's a path of conduction, the electrons discharge into a lightning strike. Maybe you've been outside at night the day before a thunderstorm and you've seen flashing in the sky, but there wasn't any lightning and thunder. Those were orbs charging up the aerosol with electromagnetic pulses. In this video, it's clear that the craft is the source of the electricity. This aerosol bank must be close to fully charged. It actually has very little moisture in it, but enough electrical charge to power a city for at least a week. If lightning were a natural phenomenon, they would absolutely find a way to harness this energy to replicate the way that the clouds accumulate electrons. This video shows that the aerosol can also be moved by certain EMFs. There's an orb up there demonstrating this for the individual recording the video. There's no way this could be the result of air movements. This was clearly formed from the application of an electromagnetic field, with the spacing showing its wavelength. These craft obviously use anti-gravity to fly, and they can also project gravity or anti-gravity to generate wind. This is primarily how they move air masses to create fronts and destructive weather events like hurricanes and tornadoes. This video shows a small orb generating wind, which is under the control of the individual recording the video. She's not human. She's an alpha draconian in human imitation form, and there are many of them on Earth, living among us in the general population. A reptilian race of mimics that are shape-shifted into forms that look like human bodies.
Weird.
That's who's operating of all of this advanced technology.
Shit. I can't. Oh, wow. Oh my god. What is that? Oh my god. 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 Who are you? Is that a person? Oh my god, what? Oh my god. Oh my god. Ah! Oh my god, look at that shit. What the fuck? Oh my god. What the fuck? Oh my god. That thing shines so bright, I've never...
At the heart of every hurricane, tornado and microburst, you're going to find one or more of these anti-gravity craft, larger and much more powerful than the one in that video. It takes a tremendous amount of continuously directed energy to sustain these kinds of wind events. The only natural source that could possibly provide that much energy is the sun, but it would never create this kind of isolated and persistent imbalance in the atmosphere. Even when there's a natural influx of energy in one location, the surrounding atmosphere will quickly bring the temperature and pressure back to equilibrium, and the air won't move until there's another influx of energy. This really is basic physics that everyone should be able to figure out on their own. This vortex is obviously not a natural occurrence. There's a large craft up there projecting gravity downward to pull the air up towards itself. That's how they create tornadoes. With hurricanes, there are multiple craft in a ring or spiral formation, projecting gravity and anti-gravity tangentially to produce a large radius of circular air movement. These kinds of weather events would never occur naturally on Earth. They had us believing that it was all Mother Nature, but now you can see what a joke that is. I'm sure you've noticed that right before it rains, there's a sudden downdraft of cold air. It's the cold air that causes the moisture in the clouds to condense into raindrops and fall, but there's no natural process that would suddenly pull the heat out of the atmosphere like that. It should be obvious at this point that this is also done with technology. They can instantly add heat to or remove heat from the environment, and they can project that effect out to a long range, at least within the line of sight. While I don't have a video of an orb projecting heat or anti-heat, I do have demonstrations by an individual who is an alpha draconian in human imitation form. He has this technology embedded in his hands, which may actually be nanotechnology that's integrated at the cellular level. After watching these videos, it should be clear that the entire planet is under the control of these aliens, Alpha Draconians, and perhaps other groups. All of the world's governments and media work for them, and that's why they never talk about this, even though there's an overwhelming amount of evidence out there. That's the reality. The clouds and weather are generated from this technological program, and this is entirely responsible for the unstable climate. It has absolutely nothing to do with emissions. They're creating all of this so-called climate change to scare us into accepting a more restrictive and controlled way of life. They want to make it so that the government and elite organizations regulate and own almost everything, and that in effect, you own nothing. Modern-day serfdom with a carbon tax. That's what's really going on. As bizarre as it is the truth, and all of the evidence I've shown supports it. What's truly scary about all of this is the extent to which they're controlling the environment, as it appears that this planet does not have a natural hydrological cycle. I recognize that the Draconians or some other group terraformed this planet to support this abundance of life, but obviously, without the aerosol program, the planet will revert to its original state. However, with deep wells and modern irrigation systems, it would still be possible to maintain a high level of agriculture, even in a desert world. These are Alpha Draconians in their human imitation forms, showing partial reversions to their native forms. Some of them are trying to help us wake up to reality by showing themselves shape-shifting or by demonstrating their other supernatural abilities and advanced technology. Most, if not all of the photos and videos you've seen here come from Drax. We've been imprisoned within a false world where so many things are not what they appear to be. Artificial clouds and weather, anti-gravity craft hiding inside plane, helicopter and cloud holograms, and behind all of it, these shape-shifting Draconians that are masquerading as humans. Your leaders, the people of power and influence, and everyone that you see in the media, they're all Dracs. They're not working for you. They're working to deceive and manipulate you for their own gain, and ultimately, to destroy you. These Draconians have been our masters for many thousands of years, long before our ancestors were brought to this planet. We serve as a thrall race in their galactic empire, treated as little more than livestock. It's a very strange situation, but that's the reality. People need to wake up and accept what it is. We can't go on believing in the illusion, believing that we're free, when we're not. We can't go on living in this state of captivity like dumb domesticated animals. Our own ignorance is our greatest enemy. If we stick our heads in the sand, we will be destroyed as a species. For us, it's true that freedom isn't free. Contribute to the awakening and liberation of humanity. Get the truth out to as many people as you can. Everyone needs to know this. It's the only way for us to get out of this bad place we're in.
Wake up! They're all about you, all around you.
If you want to know more about the hidden reality of this world, watch the other videos I've listed in the description box.